Senior Vice President, Center of the Plate at U.S. Foods. Sylvia was kind enough to conduct her presentation on category management today after weather prohibited her from speaking at the Marketing and Sales Leaders Forum in August. We are recording this webinar and it will be posted on our site afterwards. Please note we will not be taking questions during or after the presentation. So with all that said, I am so pleased to introduce Sylvia Wulf. Sylvia?
Good morning, everybody. And again, I am pleased to be part of the webinar for the IFMA Sales and Marketing Conference and to discuss with you the U.S. Foods approach to category management and this very exciting new initiative that is taking place throughout our industry. So before I start, I want to set the stage and talk a little bit about the U.S. Food strategy, because I think it's important that you understand how U.S. Foods thinks about category management in the context of how we go to business as a broadline distributor, as well as with our strategic vendor partners. So our strategy really is to win with great food, to differentiate with communities of food people, and to compete by making it easy both for our strategic partners and our customers every step of the way. We're focused on food, the menu, and consequently, it's about the assortment from a classic category management perspective. When we think about communities and food people, those are the core of our strategies, and those include our vendor partners. So this approach ensures that we are bringing to bear all of the resources that participate in those categories on behalf of the customer and their needs. So again, a very customer-centric approach to category management. And we put the systems in place to make it easy for us to work together more effectively and incorporate category management approach and tools into how we go to market. In addition, I think some of the panel members highlighted the different particular aspects of our approach to category management in terms of menu analysis and the data that that provides, as well as the classic 8-step process and some of the automated tools that are being developed to bring the industry forward in terms of utilizing category management in the food service space. So the next slide really talks about leveraging new technology and placing a laser focus on the needs of each operator. From a U.S. Foods perspective, over the last year, we've invested heavily in creating an analytics capability that allows us to look broadly across our network of divisions and customer types to really begin to understand the roles that those categories play, to understand how we assort better by segment, and then to leverage that information with our vendor partners so that we have one common and one key version of the truth. Because from our perspective, it's really about how do we bring to life with the operator the products and services that U.S. Foods and our vendor partners have to offer to help them grow their business. So it's about turning data into information to provide the operator with solutions, right product, right price, right time, right delivery option. So to me, the next slide indicates, at the beginning, we're really just getting started here, but it's exciting because I used to be on your side of the table, and I know there are many vendors that wanted to see category management put into practice in the food service channel because of the value that they saw occurring on the retail side. Our channel tends to be much more complex, and so now it's a great place to be, and it's an exciting time to be part of food service because it's coming to life in the food service channel. And what we've done, U.S. Foods has done, is modified some of the approach to ensure that, we're going to fit this into a business-to-business framework, unlike the retail industry, and make it appropriate for our business and our channel. And I really think that it's long overdue, and to me, one of the key benefits of utilizing a structured approach to category management is it eliminates wasted effort and it delivers real value. And several years ago, most of the focus was actually on SKU rationalization and SKU productivity, but I think that we are taking a much broader and holistic approach to category management at this time and really making it focused on the operator and the different segments in which they compete. So the U.S. food intent is to develop a category management approach, again, focused on the needs of the operator. We know that data is plentiful, and by working with partners like the people on the phone, we turn that into meaningful insights to ensure that we are actually delivering value to the operator. So the 8-step process is really just a starting place. And within U.S. Foods, we've been building an organization and a capability that allows us to apply that 8-step process and discipline to our channel and then adapt it to really fit the changing needs, demographic, and landscape of the channel. For example, the role of the category. That role may look different to different operator segments. Example, ground beef in a Mexican restaurant looks different than ground beef potentially in an Italian segment. And so we really want to understand what's the role of ground beef. Is it a key value item? Is it a core item? So it's using analytics and this process to define that role. We want to plan thoughtfully how to assess and apply the disciplines and weave them into our business objectives. It allows us to have a relevant conversation with our vendor partners because we are now focused on how do we go after growth, and growth comes from how do we help our operators build their business. And then when you think about taking not just our internal data, which we have a significant amount of data given the number of operators that we do business with, but also incorporating outside data from partners like Data Essentials and NPD with SupplyTrack. And what that enables us to do is really provide a holistic view of category performance. So we are able to look to see, all right, what other activities, implications exist across the channel within a category that can help us drive improved performance and improve value. So when we link our internal data, we're better able to ensure that our objectives, targets, and strategies make sense to the field, the selling organizations of both U.S. Foods and our partners to benefit the operator. And when we think about a coordinated approach, this is really new for all of us, but I believe the next several years are going to be a time of learning, improvement, and refinement. It's the right approach, it's the right time to apply it, and given the low rates of growth occurring in our industry, it's really the right time to ensure that we take the waste out of the system and that we're deploying our resources effectively to drive the right kind of activity and economics within those categories. So when you think about where this started, first UPC scanner in 1974 was installed at Marsh's Supermarket in Troy, Ohio. And the first product was actually to have a barcode was Wrigley's gum. So 20 years later, that industry, the retail industry, decided that they should figure out what to do with all that data. In food service, we all know there's no UPC, and it makes aggregation of the data 10 times more difficult. So what we've done, and I know that others like us are taking similar but slightly different approaches, is really to create a common language and a common approach to ensure that we're focused on the collective needs of our operators. And again, getting to segment-specific information, region-specific information, or menu-type specific information. Okay, on slide 7, this is really about some of the new tools that we've put into place. And I can't emphasize enough that our approach to category management is to engage our strategic vendor partners, starting with a common customer point of view, ensuring that we are collectively and collaboratively developing new strategies. It's tailoring our merchandising activities to specific customers. In the past, what we've done is everybody knows what promotions look like, and we hope that we get, some kind of reaction or response from the operator. But using category management, using data, can help us to really target specific customers and product categories more effectively. And again, ensuring that that product assortment is best able to meet the customer needs. So as we work together and collaborate across categories, it drives growth and it, in fact, takes cost out of both of our systems. So U.S. Foods is focused on developing those new tools where we put the operator, again, at the center of everything that we do. The one difference I would say against, in terms of our approach versus potentially others is it is customer-centric at its core. So many in the audience have probably seen bits and pieces of our approach. We're linking our data to assortment optimization, strategic pricing, and again to our marketing efforts. And we're aligning our field resources with those of our vendor partners to ensure that we have clarity around objectives and execution. And when we're setting up that framework, it really allows us to have a conversation about growing the business collectively and collaboratively, which is a very different approach than we've taken in the past. On page 8, it lays out our intent and our process. It's establishing that common platform, one version of the truth, and we will see and use the same information as we do joint business planning. It's building strategic relationships with our most important vendors. And I know a lot of this, it can be misunderstood. Absolutely, it's about getting the economics right, but it's really more about selecting the vendor partners that we believe have the wherewithal, the sophistication, and the product lines to help us grow the categories in our businesses by working together. And what we've seen to date is it's delivering a significant return on investment because it truly is all about growth and making a more efficient supply chain and a better category performance overall. So again, it's about growth, it's about execution, it's about delivering value to the customer. It utilizes both internal and external data. We, U.S. Foods, are extracting actionable insights that we want to share with our partners. And we expect our partners to use that data to accomplish the same activity so that as we collaboratively determine how we want to go forward and grow the business, we've got a common language, common focus, and a common expectation. So the approach is new to all of us, but we've been on this journey for about a year. Again, I guess it's been almost 2 years, we started to put our organization in place to ensure that we have the right organizational structure to equip our resources at the center and the division to derive actionable insights, to select the right vendor partners, and to move forward on the journey. And we expect category management to yield dividends to all of us. And as I mentioned before on page 8, it is vendor, distributor, operator, collaborative. It is things like category expertise and innovation, which we work on collectively. It's custom research, whether we conduct the research or you as a partner conduct the research to better understand those operator needs. It's leveraging marketing activities like our Power Buys, our innovation platform, which we call the Scoop, and direct marketing one-to-one to an operator customer. And then for the operator, it's better understanding what their menu types look like, the channels where they participate, and the segmentation that equips us to better provide the right assortment and pricing. So as I mentioned before, utilizing external data really allows us to focus on the various business requirements of the customer in a meaningful way. And U.S. Foods is focused on innovation with our 3 times per year Scoop launch of innovative products, which we develop using the data that I've just discussed, gleaning both internally and externally with our partners. And in addition, we're crafting communication and promotional strategies that leverage those insights with the customer in clear view. We've actually branded our approach. We call it our Cookbook. We're all about keeping kitchens cooking across America and focusing on the food and the food people. And so Cookbook is part of a bigger solution with respect to the data that we're sharing with our vendor partners. As I mentioned previously, our mission is to keep kitchens cooking, hence the name, and the analytics and information allow us to craft those recipes for success. And it allows us not to do what I would consider to be a shotgun approach or surgery with a cleaver, but really surgery with a scalpel. The same information and the systems are shared from the center to the region to the division level, all the way down to a territory manager who is our selling resource at the local level, as well as with our vendor partners and, in fact, with their broker representatives if they're not a direct sales organization. And we're providing visibility into opportunities, and it's really allowing us to collaboratively develop plans that drive growth. The next page describes what Cookbook for vendors. We have a cookbook for territory managers, a cookbook for category managers, and a cookbook for our vendor partners, all utilizing the same data and insights. And so we've created views of categories, geographies, segments, and the requisite metrics and reporting that helps to facilitate the discussion on how to drive value and growth for both parties. And again, we put the operator at the center. We want to provide them what they need, not what we want to sell. And I think that's one of the fundamental opportunities for the industry, is to really think about the need of the customer, just like retail did in terms of thinking through the needs of the consumer, because we will see accelerated growth with a customer-centric strategy and language. The next page really just focuses some of the targeted marketing efforts that we're using. Things like My Kitchen, which is a one-to-one targeted marketing opportunity to independent restaurants. It's our Food Fanatics magazine, which provide operators with ways to improve their business as well as the latest trends. It's Scoop, which is a platform for innovative products where, again, those insights have helped us in conjunction with our vendor partners to develop meaningful and differentiated products. And this really brings to life all of the components, efforts, and focus around the partnership with our vendor community. And targeting marketing, which is mutually developed, really has given us very positive feedback, so that we think we're well on our way to creating a category management process and practice that allows both parties to grow significantly. In addition, we don't want to leave out the supply chain collaboration, because as we think about category management, if we can't deliver meaningful results and metrics and allow us to use those category insights and that data to create more efficient supply chains, then we're not leveraging it in the most holistic fashion. So it also provides the format to discuss other performance aspects that are required by our customers. They can't go shopping, so we have to have it on the right. We have to have it right on the truck when it pulls up to their door. And so our focus is on improving that supply chain component, which also allows us to create some efficiencies that can then be reinvested in additional opportunities for growth, as opposed to wasted value. So why has category management failed in the past? You know, it's been a lot about the quality of the data, the lack of commitment, and again, the ability to execute. And I think you can all read the quote, but suppliers may begin allocating more resources and funds for category management and shopper insights and shopper market, only to find themselves misaligned with a retailer, or in our case, a distributor, that simply isn't ready or able. Well, I want to let you know that US Foods is not only ready, it's able, and it's moving forward with category management as a process and a practice, and it's about the commitment to collaboration, because we don't plan to partner with everyone. We need to make sure that we partner with the people who understand the benefits and the value of category management. Time is precious, so we want to invest it with partners that are committed to success with the process and to execution, excellent execution. And aligning talent and resources from both teams in terms of category management and aligning it with the sales team is actually critical, and it requires investment and commitment on both sides. So you all, as a vendor, need to be prepared to invest in the process and in the execution required to bring it to life. And there's a number of vendors on the phone that we have been working with over the last probably 18 months, and I think we have plenty of success stories to show that, in fact, this is driving the kind of growth that we all want to see, and it is delivering value to our operators. And we've been very pleased with the results and the growth on our top line because, again, it provides that platform to make sure that we're focused on what really drives value for U.S. Foods and for our strategic partners. So I thank you very much. Sorry I missed having the chance to interact with all of you personally. And please don't hesitate to reach out if there are questions, even though we're not going to take them on the call. You have my contact information.
Thank you, Sylvia, for sharing the information and for your time.